Hello, racing fans. Welcome back to the channel for another episode in the series. We are about 4 weeks away now from the Cheltenham Festival. We really are starting to get close. We've covered everything this year. We've had stable tours. We've done sort of episodes outside of sort of tipping and things like that. But we are getting towards crunch time now. We've looked at all of the graded races in plenty of detail as the season's sort of gone on. But we are actually now going to take a dive into the handicaps, give you our thoughts on who we fancy at this time. If we haven't got anything, that's absolutely fine too. But we're just going to have a run through all of the races, let you know where our heads are at, see who's on our radar at this time. And we'll try not to waffle on too long, but to be fair, it's probably going to be quite a long episode, you'd imagine. Right, we're checking with the boys though. First off, Mr. Jaime Wrenn, how's things, mate?
Grand bite. Lovely. Looking forward to this one.
Done a bit of nice prep for it. Got some dark horses for us, have you?
Yeah, I have a good few. Yeah.
Good stuff. Leah, this is sort of like you quite enjoy the big price side of things, so I'm sure there's plenty of this and that on your radar. You know, the squads are getting narrowed down for you as we get closer to the festival, albeit potentially not finalised yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. Obviously, love all the handicap stuff. Yeah, I've got a few of which have already been mentioned. A couple on
Mm.
the weekend actually that contracted in price, as well that are on my radar. So yeah, a few at big prices, what I like to do. So yeah, hopefully put a few people onto a winner or two, mate.
Good stuff, mate. And hopefully we can land on one or two throughout the episode. Like I said, we will finalise our selections nearer the time. We've got our sort of previews and everything sort of semi-booked in now, so we are nearly ready to go. Again, we're not going to waffle about all of the horses in the races, just the ones that we fancy. But again, thank you everyone that's tuned in. Been great to have so much support this season. Our subscribers have gone up. The like button, loads of people clicking that thumbs up, and that's really nice to see. We don't often ask, but again, if you can like and subscribe to the channel, free for you to do, it just helps us out a great deal. We appreciate you all very much, and we try to remain consistent, and we're going to go through the flat season as usual too. So let's crack on then, gents. And we're going to start off on Tuesday. We'll go one by one. I think I've got the order in the correct order. Things are chopping and changing these days, but we've got the Ultimate Chase, 3 miles, 1.5 furlongs. The 2025 winner was Meertown off an official rating of 127. Currently 8-1 for a repeat effort of that as well. The weights last season varied. The bottom weight carried 127, the top weight carried 152, just to give you an idea of the sort of horses or the range that you need to be looking in. And it's a really good race, always a very competitive renewal. A few stats along the way. 11 of the last 12 winners had previously had a Cheltenham run. The other horse that didn't was actually Meertown last season. 9 of the last 12 winners had a win that season, but only 4 of the 12 last winners won last time out. So for the statos out there, there's a few things to look at. Right, let's start with you first, Jaime Wrenn. Have you got anything you fancy in here? One, two, loads, none?
Um, Only one, Joe. This is a race I've struggled with down the years, to be honest with
Mm.
you. I think Cork Rambler was the last one I backed, and I hadn't backed one then to the Alan King horse the one years ago with green
Mm.
colours. Ben Salem or something was the name of the horse. I think that was the last one. I'm absolutely brutal with this, but Cheating Line was another one. But I'm absolutely brutal at this race. I will say that. The word of caution, what I pick here anyway.
Is that
But I'm
because
just telling you, like,
is that because the English win it?
yeah, basically, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going to be very stereotypical and and half racist,
Yeah.
but I'm not really. But anyway, um, the one I've obvious is obvious, but I'm just I'll go with most picks. I'll go. I'm going to forget about what price they are
Mm.
normally, but I just stuck with the non-runner, no money back. So
Sure.
with bet three
Cool.
six five, it's just the easiest way to do it. To be honest with you, because we're so far out. Well, we're not that far out. But if the Wall Park obviously came here, because he's not going to get in 145. But if I know I'm picking an Irish horse, which is bad. But if the Wall Park, you see what he did, he's doing. I see what he did today behind Oscar's brother, the way he finished. He's obviously not going to get into Kimmy, he's not going to get into Jack Richards. He's not going to get into National Chase. But if he did come here, 10-1 non-runnerable bet would interest me a small bit. But the other one I like is way down, and it's 40-1.
Oh, go on.
And Moon Rocket. I really like Moon Rocket for this. Yeah, Kim Bailey trained County Classico a couple of years ago. The last day it ran in that race, which I'm going to mention a lot on this pod, and Windsor was probably one of the most interesting races the whole year to with handicaps at Cheltenham. Like, and we'll move on. We'll get onto that. But he was 6 to 6. Wouldn't take any notice of that. Not trying a yard, in my opinion. And the other thing is that the handicapper knows, because the handicapper only dropped it a pound.
Mm-hmm.
He's off a mark of 140. He's 40 to 1. I'm going to give it short and sweet because I'm not great at the ultimate. I'm repeating myself now, but he's horsed out interests me at a massive price. So Moon Rocket, each way, non-runner money back at 41 and bet 365 for the ultimate.
Well, I've got some good news for you, Mr. Wrenn. Well, it might not be good news actually, but I've tipped him as well at 50 to 1.
Lovely.
I put him up about a week or so ago on Odds Checker at 50s. He's been clipped into 40s, like you said, Jay. Hopefully that's a bit of a good sign. And what's interesting, I found last time, Jamie, in that grade 2, he's opened up at 3 to 1, and they let him go off at 7 to 1. They knew the plan. So everything has been pointing towards a carefully sort of mapped out plan to the ultimate, isn't it? So I can see that too. Liam, I'm going to jump in and go next, actually, just because Jamie mentioned Moon Rocket. The two I wrote down was Moon Rocket. But second of all, a horse only come on my radar since we were doing a bit of sort of preparation for this sort of this episode. But there's a 7-year-old at the bottom called Ask Brewster at 50 to 1. Official rating of 128. Another ideal profile for this race. He's won 3 of his 4 chase starts this season. Superb jumper as well. Those 3 wins, 2 have come at Chepstow, 1 has come at Cheltenham. That's a major, major boost, in my opinion. And the latest effort, he actually bombed out when bidding for a 4-timer at Sandown. Clearly didn't like that track. All of his form comes left-handed at tracks like Cheltenham and Chepstow, where you need a real strong sort of stiff finish. And he actually got dropped £1 for it as well. So nothing wrong with that at all. And I could see him flying under the radar here, going from a prominent position, and he may not be for catching. So I'm quite sweet on Moon Rocket there at 40 to 1 and Ask Brewster at 50 to 1. They're 2 of my strongest selections in this episode anyway, so hopefully they can line up and give us a good run for our money. And like I said, he would sneak in there off a mark of just 128, and there's still more to come. Liam, who do you fancy in the Ultima?
There's a few in here that would take my fancy, mate. Panic Attack, wherever she goes, probably she's more likely to line up in one of the graded races. Obviously, she's quoted at around about 16s. I can completely get the perspective with the Wall Park. Jordan's Cross, I think, is really interesting. At 20, is stepping up. He needed every yard on trials day, didn't he, to get up and win. He potentially still has more under the bonnet. He could easily be 4 from 4 had he not fallen at Cheltenham in October or November. Confusion is one who potentially still has a little bit more to come. Another one that caught my eye is for Dan Scout, is Deafening Silence, who ran a cracking match and stepped up in trip in the Welsh National. I potentially think that there's probably more of a stay in. I was surprised not to see him entered in the IDA. He actually does have an entry for one of the Grand National trials. So maybe they're going to go down that route. But Jamie Wrenn, I'll take your 40 to 1 and I'll raise you 50 to 1 for a horse that potentially will not quite get up the hill. He might be sick when he gets there, but he's been on my radar for a while. I have limped on at the 50s as well. Go on, Jay.
Pied Piper.
Pied Piper, yeah.
Oh, you're having a laugh. A bridal merchant.
You're off. Nah, wait, go on, make your case. Make your case.
A bridal merchant in an Ultima.
He may well be a bridal merchant. He tried the course and distance and ran really well. He came there swinging. And yes, he was exactly that day. If he gets good ground and the sun comes out and it starts to dry out over Cheltenham, his record at Cheltenham reads second, third, first, third, first. He's got an incredible record. He's ran in county hurdles off top weight and place, finishing second. He definitely obviously loves the track. He'll definitely want better ground conditions. He may end up going for something like a plate, which I'm sure we'll get onto. But he's travelling well the last day in the Thyestes before coming down. And he took a bit of a crashing fall. That would be my only concern. And also, if the ground is a little bit testing, will he really find off the bridle? He didn't the last day, as you mentioned, but at 50 to 1, I think he's been laid out for something. The blinkers will probably remain on board, and first-time headgear or new headgear is a massive positive in this race. If you go back and look at winners, plenty of them have had new headgear applied for when running in this. So, yeah, Pied Piper for me. I'd happily take a swing at 50s at this moment in time.
Yeah, fair enough. That, like you said, that headgear might actually be just what he's been sort of waiting for, isn't it? Potentially. So if they chuck something on, happy days. So Pied Piper at 50 to 1 for Liam, Ask Brewster at 50 to 1, and Moon Rocket at 40 to 1 for me, and Moon Rocket at 40 to 1 as well for Jamie. Right, some nice big prices to start off the episode, and we're going to swiftly move on to the Boodles hurdle because I can't remember the name that it is now called. 2 miles, half a furlong for the 4-year-olds. The 2025 winner was Put Your Hands Together off an official rating of 130. The weights last year ranged from 121 to 136. Only one of the last 12 winners has been a favourite. Only 4 of the last 12 winners won last time out. And 9 of the last 12 winners carried 11 stone 6 or less. Interesting race, this. I've got a woeful record in it, I must admit. Really liked Winston Jr. initially, but noticed he was in there at favourite sort of after his very first run. I thought, well, the cat's out of the bag already. Then looked down at Lord Byron, Faye Bramley's other. Not quite qualified yet, needs one more run. Liam, can you shed any light on who you fancy here?
JP's won it 3 of the last 6 years. Saratoga was put up as an eye catcher on one of our week reviews after his first run. So those that are now putting him up after 3 runs out, the horse has bolted. He's 5-1. He's over bet. There's no value left. So look away from him would be my opinion. Definitely looks like one who could win it. But if you backed him like someone had suggested at the 20s after his debut, then you're onto a nice ticket, I think. Same connections, obviously, as Brazil, who won this a few years ago in that infamous race with Gaelic Warrior. So he'd be high on my radar. There are a couple of others. I do wonder if that Salma de Veri will go here. I think, Joe, you're of a difference of opinion, think that she'll line up in a trial, which I think would probably make sense. But if she were to come here, I'd be quite interested in her. She travelled through the race at the DRF. Lovely, I thought. But I've come down on Mr. Wrenn's fancy in this race that he flagged a lot earlier in the season. So I'm not going to steal his thunder and I'll leave it to him to take that away.
All right. Take it away,
Yeah,
then.
this was one of my first bets for the handicap, Liam. You're absolutely 100% spot on. I have 25-1. I'm very happy. He's still 16-1 non-runner bet. He ran yesterday at Naas. He was third at Christmas. You want to go back and watch the race in Leopardstown? I think Philip Burns saw, I'm going too quick here. We'll put on the handbrake, and we jumped the last and we finished third. Fifth, I think, or fourth or fifth then behind Proactive and Macho Man. And then was fourth, I think, yesterday, with behind Saratoga. I will say, from on the naked eye, he's a better jumper than Saratoga. But I presume Saratoga will jump properly when he was into proper handicap. 5-1, the value's gone now. 16-1 non-runner no bet is massive, I think. But I have a second snaky one. Now, the only thing about this is this. Last year, Lavender Hill Mob was bottom weight, and it was 1-2-1. This horse might sneak in at 119. Now, very, very low. This horse is 40-1 with Unibet, but he's 16-1 non-runner no bet with Betchley 6-5. It's trained by Dan Skelton. It's owned by the same crowd as My Daddy Paddy in Tralee Girl, where I'm from, Tralee. The only thing I liked about this horse, it was 5 lengths on its debut over her. It was rated 75 on the flat. Well, in Weatherby then, it was 5 lengths behind Manila Study, went on to win impressively at Cheltenham. Then it was second to Highland Crystal, who won yesterday at Naas, and then finished fourth in a list race behind Manganese, tailed off the back of the telly. And now it's qualified for the Boodles. It's a stab in the dark. Her price non-runner bet is probably not great, 16-1, but she's 40-1 with Unibet and 33-1 with Sky Bet if you want to take a chance non-runner without the concession. She definitely was on my radar when I saw the race in Newbury behind Highland Crystal. So if she gets in, I'll back her in the day, yeah. So Tralee Girl, but my biggest fancy is Munsef, yeah. I think this will be laid out for the whole year, yeah. I think it's obvious.
Tralee Girl for the Tralee boy. I love that. I do, yeah, I love it. All right, well, interesting. A lot of people obviously, when we get the fields for these graded, juvenile races through the season, a lot of people instantly look at the horse in behind and say, massive eye catcher, massive eye catcher. Like we said, Saratoga, all good, tipping them up at sort of 20-1. But when they do get over bet, they just become massive turn-offs for me. It's really strange, I'm sure other people are like that too. But yesterday at Naas, Highland Crystal, although she beat Saratoga by half a length, I think people have broke this race down wrong personally, and I think she's great value for it too. She's by Crystal Ocean. I absolutely love him as a side. He's got an incredible horse. Will be my number one to follow next season. I won't mention him now. But Highland Crystal, she won at Punchestown over 2 mile 2. She then came over to Newbury and won over 2 miles. Now they were over in fields of 14 and 12. She got brought into the race from the back of the field, and she was so strong at the finish, just sluiced home. Yesterday at Nice, it was only over 1 mile, 7.5. There was only five runners in the race. She had to do all the donkey work because all of the rest were plot jobs, absolutely. But that made it twice as difficult for her. It's easy to say that Saratoga was the eye catcher, but she had to come across to the inside rail to get a proper, a proper nice bit of ground coming up that straight. And they forced her to do the donkey work. That half a length, I think she was more than comfortable there. Now, if Mange 2 wasn't in the Triumph hurdle, Highland Crystal would be their horse for the Triumph. But because she's in there, there's no doubt Highland Crystal is going to end up coming here instead. Now, in a Boodles, it's going to be fastly run race. You're going to again have sort of 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 runners and all the rest of it. That will suit her much better than that race did at Nice yesterday. She shouldn't have been out of front. That's not the way she wanted to ride because there's so many plot jobs in behind. She had to go from the front. And even when Jack Kennedy came in, I was delighted to hear that he said the same. She didn't like going from the front. And that was just suggesting me that you can mark up that performance. She should be going for the Triumph, but she's not. She's going here. And I think she's a solid each way option at 12 to 1, albeit there's probably going to be one or two better handicapped as we go through to the day. Okay, anything else to add there on the Boodles, lads? No. Okay, right. We move on to the National Hunt Chase, 3 mile, 6 furlongs. 2025 winner, Hoti Kalur, off a mark of 135. He then went on to win the Irish National and the Welsh National. Quite sensational when you look back at it now. The weights as well. The lowest weight last year was 124. Top of the weights was 145. And a few stats for you. Only 2 of the last 12 winners were favourites. Only 3 of the last 12 winners won their previous race. 11 of the 12 have been rated 139 or higher, and 10 of the last 12 winners had a previous run there at Cheltenham. Jamie, we'll come to you first here. Who do you fancy? Obviously, the Wool Park can't be considered now, but there's plenty of nice horses in here.
There's loads, Joe, yeah. I will say, rather caution, a lot of people are tipping Shuffle the Deck and Kiss Will. Now, they need another run to qualify. They've only ran twice over fences, and they're 12 to 1, 16 to 1 on a. I see a lot of people putting these horses up. They need another run to qualify for the even any Kim Muir Kim Muir's 4, but the Jack Richard, they still need another run, but they will be interesting if they do get another run before Cheltenham. There's a 3 I like, Joe. Well, weighed out, as I said, to mention the race. Obviously, he won at Cheltenham in November meeting. He was given a good ride by Sean Bowen the last day at Windsor, coming around the sweep at the bend. It was that race, as I mentioned, with Moonrocker. You'd Salver, Lawrence Bay. Now, Lawrence Bay is definitely on my radar for this. 16 to 1. I think it's crying out for better ground. Won the big novice handicap thing. I think it was Imperial Cup Day at 33 1.
Yeah, that's it.
And then you Toxter won a good ground at debut. Then ran a race with Salver and Diane Quest at Sandown, and behind that was Quebecois, who was second to Jordan's Cross. So
that form line, yeah.
There's huge form line there, and obviously ran that race as well with the Moon Rockets, the Wade Outs, and the Jericho, the Repenizers. For that race, I think is going to tell a lot in the handicaps. I keep mentioning it again, but the other one is, if you were going for an Irish perspective, Wade Out and obviously is English 8 to 1, non-runner nobody bet, and then it's certain Irons 16s. Is Will the Wise for Gavin Cromwell. This one has been hanging around in handicaps all year. Runs in Tri-Towns, run in Leopardstown Chase. He's 10 to 1 no bet. He's obviously bigger with other firms. What I like about this horse is that when it won on its debut, it won over 2 miles. No, I think eventually it didn't win on its debut, but his first time he won over fences was at Galway. So it was 2 miles 2. So this is 3 miles 6. And sometimes when they know the horses stay, if they go quick at the start, he'll be able to keep up because he knows how to race quickly over 2 miles and 2 miles 2, actually 2 miles and a quarter. I didn't even won that day. So he's definitely been laid out for this space, and he's in the same ownership as Stumptown. So I've had a few quid in him, and I've got 20 to 1 on him for it. So Will the Wise for me, Wade Out, and Lawrence Bay are definitely interested in this race.
Lovely, nice one, James. And what about you, Liam? Any similar opinion or onto something else?
Yeah, and obviously I know that the conditions of the race have changed since last year, but we have had 2 10-year-old winners, a 9-year-old winner, and last year an 8-year-old winner. So as much as it's obviously a novice chase, I do think that a lot of experience can end up coming to the fore here. We have seen classier types, I think, in recent years with Galvin, Statler, Haiti Calours, Corbett's Cross, who ended up running in open graded races, Galliard de Menil, all obviously winning this. However, I'd just be willing to give a chance to one, and I haven't backed this yet, and potentially I may do. And of course, we're just hashing out ideas at this
Yeah,
moment in
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I was so impressed with how Shambally Kid won at the
Mm.
back end of last year at Punchestown. And I think just perhaps a little bit of better ground. He beat a horse called Outside the Door by 15 lengths. That horse subsequently has won, and he's gone up a load in the handicap. He's only a couple of pounds behind Shambally Kid. Obviously, it's just one form line. He was one on my radar for the national potentially on better ground. He won't get in, I don't think, but unless the plan is win this, go up a good number of pounds, and then have a tilt at the national. But I think he is potentially one for that this race. So Shambally Kid, I think it's around about 40-50 to 1. Would definitely be one on my radar. And once they get priced up on the exchange, I might have a quid or two at a massive price on the exchange, providing it's there to be had.
Love it, mate. That's what you want. Some nice big prices. Okay, for me, it's going to be the 7-year-old in here, Newton Tornado at 10 to 1. Really starting to become a big fancy of this horse, and I think he's going to line up here too. Runs off an official rating of 133, or that's what he's got at the moment. Anyway, for last year's, obviously, Rebecca Curtis and Ben Jones will be on board because Sean Bowen's going to be riding Wade out, isn't he? Won 2 of his 4 starts this season. Both times that he's actually won over 3 miles. So the further he goes, he seemingly seems to get better. He hasn't actually raced over any further yet, so this extra sort of 3/4 of a mile is definitely going to be a question mark. But the fact that Rebecca Curtis trained Haiti Couleur to win this last year, she knows what sort of stamina you need, and she must think enough of Newton Tornado to target him for this race. He has ran twice at Cheltenham. He was second, finishing about half a length behind Diva Luna over hurdles. On his second effort, he actually fell here, but I have no doubt that he's going to stay the marathon trip. His 2 wins over 3 miles, he absolutely sluiced home. And these Cocorico horses are tough as nails. So I think Rebecca Curtis and Ben Jones are going to have the winner again this year with Newton Tornado at 10 to 1. Again, happily back him each way. But he would be one of my stronger fancies in the handicaps at this point in time. Right then, on to the plate next. The 2 mile, 4.5 furlong race on the old course now, of course. 2025 winner was Jaguar with an official rating of 139. Last year's bottom weight was 131. Last year's top weight was 157. 10 of the last 12 winners have been rated between 139 and 145. So you've got a £6 window. And 11 of the last 12 winners have actually won that season as well. Lads, I've got absolutely nothing here. Do either of you have a strong fancy for start?
Did have until his price collapsed.
Go on, take us away anyway.
Madara.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay, okay.
Just well found, isn't he? He's at
What
the
do you
top.
say? You say Madara, I'll say another skeleton yoke.
Fair enough. Scott, we'll do the forecast. But yeah, Madara's obviously been laid out for this. Was really well backed. Was it the December Gold Cup, I think, of last year over course and distance? Just got chinned by the Venetia Williams horse on that day. It's been laid out. But again, one that if you've latched on nice and early, then happy days. I wouldn't be taking these sort of prices. Or would I? No one to know bet 17, 15 to 2. Perhaps. But yeah, very well found in the market. And as we said earlier, Joe, so many of these can be overbet, can't they? So
Yeah.
an obvious one, so I won't go on.
Does it put you off? Like, were you not back a horse because there's one that's over bet? Like, I know I
Yeah,
will.
yeah, if there's no value left in the price, then no, I won't bet it.
Yeah, Jamie.
I literally did it the other day. So within my obviously my service group, I said to wait for the drift. Didn't
Yeah,
drift,
yeah.
so what? But with odds checking, your hands are tied. Tipped
You
it for
have
odds
to,
checking, it
of
won.
course.
So,
Yeah,
but where I didn't back it myself because the price didn't get to where the point at which I felt was a value price.
yeah. Jamie, what about you? Because I'm the same with Liam. I'm quite price sensitive these days, whereas I used to just want to back winners. So it does. There's no right or wrong. I don't feel. I'm just asking for like your opinion.
Sensitive sometimes, yeah. I'm starting to
Mm.
be like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely compared to what I was before.
yeah,
It's too far out to be going, with the
yeah.
handicaps. You're
Mhm.
guessing at the moment, like, and the concession is great. I
Mm.
play that. Just easier because you don't want to be heartbreak stories then is that the horse doesn't turn up in the race you want to turn up. So
Yeah,
you have to take the hit with the price, but you're still getting good prices at the moment with it. So
sure.
that's the
Yeah,
way I do it now. Yeah.
good point. Yeah, good point.
One is interesting to come up in a lot of races. There, like he's 8 to 1 year. One touch him now for this is McGlory. Won the big 2 mile handicap last year to DRF. Wherever he goes, he's going to be very interesting because he hasn't been in training yard all year. The one I like, Joe, is an obvious one. And I think he'd be better back on the old track compared to the new track of the December Gold Cup. Is Ho Jody Smoke. As you said there, is at the bottom weight. We came off 131. He's officially at the moment at 131. I know he's won at 3 miles in good ground last year. I think he needs better ground anyway. I know he won at 3 miles at Sandown last year on the 8th of March off 127. He's only £4 higher. But I don't think he really gets 3 miles because he was 3 miles won at the October meeting and he was third behind. He came there traveling like the best horse in the race, but he didn't get home. 3 Card Bragg won that, and look who was second. Back Me or Sack Me.
Oh,
Back Me or
yeah.
Sack Me is just after winning the big handicap at Leopardstown Chase handicap at DRF. Third then behind Panic Attack and Vincenzo. Vincenzo was second in December Gold Cup. Look at Panic Attack. Oh, I'm starting out to fancy for that Mayor's Chase, by the way. So, yeah, I think he's form, and he's been around the track. Horses for courses sometimes. He's been around there 3 times this year. I think there's been a plan all year. He's 20 to 1 non-runner bet, and I couldn't put anybody off it. Hold Jody Smoke.
Love it. Nice one, James.
Sorry,
There we
Joe,
go.
just to throw in there, mate. Ilrodoto's obviously turned up in this race pretty much every time it's running, every single given month. Starting to get back down to a nice mark. Wouldn't want it to be absolutely bottomless.
Yeah, he's the same. Yeah, he needs good ground as well. There, you're right, Chuck.
Yeah, but he's available at 33, so he'd be one on my radar. And again, as I alluded to, perhaps his bridal merchant nature might suit the plate a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, he won a Paddy Power in his course and distance, like, do you know what I mean? So he definitely, I think he's better on the old track compared to the new track. So you're spot on there.
Yeah, interesting, like you said about the profile of like the finish as well, because horses like Seddon, Shake 'em Up Harry, they're all similar like that actually, Liam, aren't they? Yeah, nice spot, I'd say there, buddy. Okay, gents, we move on to the Coral Cup, one of my favourite handicaps of the week. 2 mile 5 furlongs. Last year's winner was Jimmy Desoy with an official rating of 146. The lowest weight was 131. The highest rate was 153. Only one of the last 12 winners of this race was a favourite. Either of you know what that is? I'll be gobsmacked, even though you shouldn't be. I'd have just never remembered.
Was it the JP Mare?
The company.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, nice one. Half point each, I'll give you there then. 10 out of the last 12 winners have been rated 140 or higher, so stay away from those low ones. And only 4 of the last winners actually won their start before that. New again, like Nurse Susan, an obvious one. Dan Skelton trained, runs obviously in the Colm Donlan Silks, the same as obviously Langer Dan. One off 127, then one off 134, now up to 140. Like, when do you say like it's starting to get a little bit much for us? Like, she's one of the horses. She doesn't look obviously well handicapped, but people just put 2 and 2 together and think, well, they've done it with Langer Dan, they're going to do it with this horse too. But it's not really the case, or is it, Liam?
No, I don't believe it is. She has been doing all of her best work at the back end of the races, hasn't she? She looked beaten. Was it at Doncaster? Correct me if I'm wrong. The other week, Sandown. Thanks, Jay. Yeah. And she looked beat there, didn't she? When Jubilee Alpha
That's it. Yeah. I remember.
And didn't find. She's obviously got really decent course form at Cheltenham, so I can understand why people are latching on. But I think you're right, Joe. People just putting the colours, the trainer, putting 2 and 2 together, and I think they're coming up with 183 because it doesn't add up to me. I like a couple in here. Nicky Henderson's got a decent record. We've just mentioned one of the horses he won this race with. And I really liked Jinko Blues Run. Obviously, same ownership as Django Bay. And I really liked him in behind Cabral de Matan the last day. He's available at 25 to 1 at the moment, but I'll get on with it. The best bet of the whole festival, and Joe, I know you've alluded to the fact that you should not be backing horses towards the bottom of the weights, and I would completely agree. The trends all suggest that class animals win this. However, this horse I do think is a class animal. He just doesn't have the rating by his name to justify that point. It's Navajo Indy. I've been going on for ages about it. I will caveat this. You need to back him, non-runner, no bet. I actually have been emailing Tom Simmons, who's been very kind and generous and getting back to me with regards to this horse's well-being, because he ran and finished second at the October meeting behind French Ship, was only ran about 3 lengths behind him. He's gone up £18 in the handicap. He gave weight away to the winner and to the third, Bowen's On Fire, who's gone up around about £17 in the handicap. This horse is ultra consistent. He's literally hardly ever been outside the first 3. He's 33 to 1 non-runner no bet. He's been tipped as my biggest points outlay for the whole entire anti-post season. but he's done a really good piece of work earlier in the week, and then still not quite sure as to whether he's going to make it. So non-runner, no bet, and therefore if he doesn't line up, get your money back. But everything there reminds me of Jazzy Matty last year in the Grand Annual, and that's yeah. So I really like him for this.
Interested. What's the reason they said they might not get in there? Was it a case of timing or not too
So
sure?
obviously he ran in the Betfair hurdle now, the William Hill hurdle
Oh,
last season.
of course he did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Staying on strongly at 2 miles. They stepped up in trip in October, and then they went to Haydock over 3. I think that was a stretch too far, Joe, and he came
Mm.
out of that race with a bit of an issue. So he
Yeah,
hasn't been
yeah,
seen since, well, that's Betfair Chase Day, November-ish.
yeah, yeah,
So
sure.
he's not been seen since. They were gearing him back up, hoping to get him back out in the next couple of weeks.
Mm.
Started up in his work, and I think potentially he's had a little bit of a niggle or just reacted poorly to a
Yeah.
decent piece of work they put him through. So not really no bet, but I think a few people have latched on since, and yeah, he's still a cracking bet. Not running no bet. Should he line up? But you're taking a bit of a chance given the fact we haven't seen him for a while.
Hey, look, we want to take those chances, but like you said, you've got the non-runner no bet there to help you out. Big case there for Navajo Indy from Liam, and he has been going on about this horse for some time now, so you've got to pay attention to that. Jamie, who do you like in the Coral Cup?
Liam just mentioned one I like, Jinko Blue. The one I really like is Liam is said this goes to class animals. You can take a chance at 25s, but he's 14 to 1 on a bet, and surely Gordon Elliott is going to put a claimer on this horse. This horse that was second to New Lion in the whatever race it's called now, the Turners. The yellow clay runs here off a mark of what in the mid one. If he gets 150 or 150 something, and you get a £5 claimer who Liam McKenna, who rode Good Time Johnny to win the Per Thames final, rides for Gordon Elliott. So if he puts Liam McKenna on as a £5 claimer, the class angle of the race, go back and watch the race at Leopardstown at Christmas. He travelled like the best horse in the race for 2.5 miles, and then he just cut out. So he's obviously not a 3 miler. So if he runs here, I'd be all over the yellow clay. I think it's a class angle in the race. The other horse that's been on my radar too, Joe, is I'll mention one that's not even in the betting quickly,
Oh,
is Dan Skelton's mare, Katira. She's been dropped to 143. I can't understand why she's not being priced. I think she'd be mustered off a fast pace in the handicap over 2.5 miles. She doesn't stay 3. She's not quite good enough for 2, so put her in the Coral Cup. Because I don't see any Skelton horse at the moment for the Coral Cup in my head. So if she came here and she got priced, I'd back her. But the other one I like is very kind of left field, and this is the horse that won the Betfair Hurdle last year. She's come back from chasing. I've actually backed her at 50 to 1, Bet365 with no concession. She's now 25 to 1 on her bet. Now, she could go for the county. Enjoy us. I think they're making a fool out of all of us here with her. Um, Came back ninth in that race, won by Wilful Ascot for Christmas. Then ran in the Concierge race. Finished only 4 lengths behind O'Betty at Ascot to last night. Now, she could go county, but I think she'll go in the Coral Cup because I think she'd be better over further. She had an official mark of 138 after the Mayor's Hurdle behind Lassie Moat last year. She ran in the Grade 1 Mayor's Hurdle last year because she had no choice because she wasn't qualified for the handicaps. So then she went to Fairy House and she ran off 142. Now she's £7 lower to 135. If she runs in the Coral Cup, she will not be 25 on today because McManus backed the absolute whatever out of her. They're my two, the Yellow Clay and Joyous. They're 100%. No, definitely huge respect for Jinko Blue because I was a night catch and run behind Cabral de Matan. But class angle Yellow Clay, where I think is well handicapped, is Joyous.
okay, cool. Nice one, boys. Well, I've got two in the race as well. My first one is the yellow clay, like you, Jamie. Yeah,
Yellow Clay.
absolutely. I can't get the run behind the new lion out of my mind, really, as well, from last year. You can look at obviously his form this season and say he's been under the weather, and that's fine. People like horses do have this, and this is a horse likely to be targeted towards a stayer's hurdle. Things obviously haven't gone to plan. But if the new lion goes and wins the champion hurdle on Tuesday, you can bet your bottom dollar that the yellow clay is going to be absolutely smashed in this market to much shorter. So the yellow clay is one I'd be interested in. And also Storm Heart with an official rating of 147, Willie Mullins and Giggy. Join Willie Mullins after getting a big reputation from France initially. Second in that spring juvenile, fourth in the grade one at Aintree, second to McAlory, Jamie, in that DRF race that you were referring to.
Yep.
He won at Limerick last time out when he was stepped up to 2 mile 5 or 2 mile 6 for the very first time. They rid him actually off the pace. He bolted up by 6 lengths. The only issue with Stormheart, he's a little bit small. Just wonder if he's a little bit fragile. But if he goes into this race off a mark of 147, he's not going to be too bad either. So the Yellow Clay and Storm Heart are the two class angles. Because I'm like you, Jamie, that's what I look for personally. And hopefully they'll give us a good run for our money at decent prices. Okay, moving on to what have we got next? The Grand Annual, the 2 mile race, 13 fences to jump. 2025 winner was Liam's beloved Jazzy Matty with an official rating of 135. This year, last year's weights as well. The bottom weight carried 130, top weight carried 156. Only one favourite in the last 12 winners have won this, and 10 of the last 12 have been rated between 135 and 147. So you've got quite a big window there to work with. Jamie, stick with you.
Well, yeah, you just said it there, Joe. It all depends where McClory goes as well. He's 12 to 1 on bet money back for this. But Mr. Firkin's not going to like me after this, what I'm going to say here now. I'm telling you now for a fact, if the July Flower runs off this in the market of mid 140s, it's an absolute certainty. I put it that way, Chad. It's 25 to 1 on bet. Now, they might go down the Mare's Chase, but I think she's an out-and-out 2 miler. She's been around the track. She's beaten Be Aware. Be Aware is behind Lanamba of second last day in Windsor. I think only by night or July Flower will go here, but I think it'll be July Flower. And she's just a 2 miler, and she's been around the track. So I think because remember, Henry Bromhead had won this couple of years ago with Mascada. So I think he's definitely going to put one of them in the Grand Annual. I hope it's July Flower. If she runs in the Grand Annual, I will back her. I might take the non-runner row bet there, 25 to 1 out for when we get off this, but McClory is definitely on my radar wherever it goes. But if July Flower runs in here, I think she'll win. So July Flower for me.
What you got to say to that, Liam?
I'm going to join him and do exactly the same thing.
Oh, well, there you go. Happy days then. All right,
I
cool.
think Jamie's right. Obviously, given how Mascada was campaigned and won, run and won in this, I just think the writing's on the wall a little bit, Joe. Obviously, I was on at nice prices on the machine, so like and also people just don't back horses for two separate races. But look, if I'm backing her at 33s and then at 25, she wins at 25. So I got myself a 12.5 to 1 winner if I outlay the same point in stake. I'm not gonna scream my nose up at that. Jazzy Matty will still have a chance. He's literally run over fences once since winning in the Grand Annual, and I think he's turned up to a track on 4 or 5 occasions. He just will need ground not too dissimilar to last year. I'm just not sure, Joe. I know we're 4 weeks out and the weather can make a fool of all of us, but it's wet, mate. Like, is there gonna be any good in the going description? I think there'd need to be for Jazzy Matty to be able to follow up. Also, I think of the last 12 winners of this, 10 of those winners returned to the Grand Annual to try and repeat that feat. None have won and 2 placed.
Oh,
Obviously,
wow.
Unexpected Party was one from last season, obviously followed Jazzy Matty home. So they've not got a great record of following up. But
Interesting. Yeah, okay.
yeah, 25 to 1 July Flower, non-runner, no bet. I may have to take back what I said about Navajo Indy. That might be one of the best bets of the festival.
Oh, okay. There we go then. All right, love it, lads. Nice one. I quite like Jacob's Ladder here, who won at the DRF, but I'm very concerned that he's up to a mark of 151 now. It's not because I don't think he can win off that necessarily, but it doesn't have him thrown in into the race. But I did have a scroll down the market, and I'm not a massive fan of much in the race this year. The only horse that's won it off a higher mark in the last 12 years was Sky Pyro off 152. But I love the formula that Jacob's Ladder's got. He won easily over 2 miles at Fairy House. He was then second to Capage Pike at Punchtown when they went up to 2 mile forward with him for the first time. Back down to 2 miles again, and then he dotted up again, didn't he? At the DRF Easy, he was well backed into 2 to 1 favourite. Look, he's gone at £8 in the weights. They could, if they wanted to, run him in a Jack Richards, but I just think he's going to have a better chance over 2 miles because he looks like a 2 miler to me. He's a real class horse in this race, solid as a rock as well, jumping really, really nicely. He'll love Cheltenham. I just can't see him being far away. And when I haven't got a standout, 12 to 1 on Jacob's Ladder each way, pull the trigger happily, to be fair, at that price. Right, we move on to one of the newer races of the Cheltenham Festival, the Jack Richards Novice Handicap Chase, 2 mile 4 furlongs extended. No stats for this one because, of course, we've only had one winner of the race in these conditions, which was Coldwell Potter with an official rating of 146. Last year's bottom weight was 134 and the top weight was 154. Anyone remember what the top weight was?
Last year, Firefox.
correct?
Nope.
Go on.
Springwell Bay, just above him,
Springwell Bay.
154. So good effort though, because I think Firefox is next. Liam, we're gonna come reverse order this time. We'll start with you.
Yeah, a race that I can't really get a handle on, and I think even when you go back to its last incarnation, you basically again wanted a graded horse in a handicap. Tard had won this previously. Obviously, he went on to do what he did. We saw last season with Coldwell Potter, ended up being a Grade 1 winner at Aintree. This for me is a mess.
Yeah.
They put them out, and God knows what happens. I'll tell you the one who is massively of interest. We banged on about this horse for the Browns, and we mentioned him at 40. Oh, sorry, no, the Stayers Hurdle first of all, and then we found
Jimmy.
at the start of the season.
What
And
price is he at then? What price is he?
16 to 1 on Running No Bunny, but anyway, here, yeah, I have it here.
yeah, so I think you can get 20s anti-pros potentially. So if you wanted to take that chance, perhaps that's the case. I think ground's gone against him the last twice. I think also his second appearance over fences, he actually came out of that and scoped badly following the race. Jimmy Dessau is a good animal, very good animal, and he could be the graded horse in a handicap in here. He's got the 3 runs. The one I hope not to see in here, Joe, is Kappa J Pike. I hope he goes to the Arkle. But Jimmy Dessau at 20s, if you put a gun to my head, I'd definitely be backing him for this. And if he does turn up, even though he'll probably be towards the top of the weights, he has got that class edge. So yeah, him.
Proper dark horse for that division, isn't he? Nice one, Liam. And Jamie?
There's a few that have to turn up. Meet Me by the Sea, I thought ran well at Newbury the last day, but we were saying in the review show the last day, he might be just a flat track horse, Meet Me by the Sea. 2 I like it's off 148, I think, over in Ireland, so you'll get tax. If Cocktail Divan run here, he's a class act, the race, I think, to be honest with you, Cocktail Divan. I'm just worried, does he utterly stay 3 miles? Because I know he was second to Oscar's brother, who won today, but I didn't think he didn't stay properly to go past Oscar's brother. Do you know what I mean? That day punches down I think it was at the Florida Pearl. So then one at Christmas, obviously beating Kisswill and Shuffle the Deck and Carl the Tyrrells of all these well handicapped horses behind it. They could probably go Browns, but I think it should be in here because I think if he runs in here, he'd have a massive squeak, 10 to 1 there. No. But the other one is obvious, Joe, and we've been hyping on about this horse, and it was one of your horses to follow this year. Like 25 to 1 on another vet. It's just obvious, like King of Kingsfield. Come on, like I think it's just obvious. He needs better ground. He's won in summer in Punchestown and bloody Galway. Went to Cheltenham, pulled up in a 2 mile race to kind of get the mark down under 145. And then he goes to Newbury behind Wendigo. Why is King of Kingsfield in Newbury? And they know what they were doing. He was still 145. They only dropped him a pound. So I thought it was the rule that there was the 145 this, but it's an open graded novice handicap. But he's still off a mark of 144. If he turned up here on better ground, now he needs better ground. I will stress that. But if it is better ground, I think it's just obvious King of Kingsfield has a right chance in this each way, 25 to 1. Cocktail Divan and King of Kingsfield for me so far in this.
Yeah, love it. Well, again, I got 2, Jamie, and they're both in my horses to follow. One's in my Irish list, like we've just said already, King of Kingsfield. So I agree with you. And the one that I've got in my horses to follow on the British side is Meet Me by the Sea. Like you said, probably does need a little bit of a flatter track. 1 3 of his 4, obviously hurdle starts. He's now won, his first 2 chase starts. Only by short distances, but they're perhaps a little bit cozy. Then he conveniently tailed off in the game spirit. He's off a mark of 139. He's probably going to get dropped £2 or £3 for that. He's going to be off a really good mark, but it's a race that I have actually struggled with right now anyway. It's a difficult one to find your winners from. Let us know as well, listening in. Let us know who you fancy. And give us your angles as well. I like to actually get a bit of reasoning behind it rather than the name, but a race that I'm certainly struggling with for the time being. Right, moving on to the per temps. Absolutely love this race. I've always been a fan of this. The 3 mile per temps. 2025 winner was
Dottie the Great.
Dottie the Great off a mark of 131. Last year's bottom weight was 124, which was American Sniper, and then the top weight was 143. Really interesting stat for you here, and this one is blimmin' interesting, really. 6 of the last 8 winners have either wore a tongue tie or a tongue strap. That is obscene. Last year there was 2 or 3 in the race that wore one. There was Doddy the Great, there was American Sniper, which I liked, and one more. And again, Doddy the Great won a massive prize. So the tongue tie and the tongue strap is a huge, huge stat for that one. Very, very unusual. I'm going to kick us off this one, boys, if you don't mind. Mapped out a plan myself for Active Authority at the beginning of the season as one of my horses to follow. Hoped that he'd run in that Newbury race, and he did, and conveniently finished fourth, which was perfect because that would have been qualified for the final in March. But what that effectively meant was that the yard were then going to be able to sort of nourish and care for that handicap mark just throughout the season until they get back to the March venue. He was, of course, second to Woodoo in the Martin Pipe last year. Off a mark of 134. He's now 137. It's absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that mark as well. And he looks like he's starting to become quite well handicapped. I'm going to give a real quick mention to Absolutely Doyen as well for Paul Nichols here. Won his last 5 now, gone from 113 all the way up to 135, but still clearly improving. And one that I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of a tongue tie on as well, just for the way that he seems to race. And they will do for me for the time being. Liam?
I had the winner of this a week ago.
Not running. Oh, no, you didn't. You had the runner up, Mr. Long Draw.
So I really fancied the other Ollie Murphy runner.
Mm.
I loved his preparation into it. He's then been ruled out for the remainder of the season. Obviously, that's been long draw. Joe, I had a couple of others on my radar thereafter, both of which have been mentioned by yourselves, funnily enough.
Cool.
Not just to agree with you blindly, but
No.
genuinely. Supremely West would be slightly short for me at this moment in time, but Jamie's given a good case for him. I'm sure he will mention him a little bit more. I do like your shout, mate. Active Authority, that course form in the Martin Pipe. What I would say, this favourite at tens, that could still look like value, I think, come the day. How well
Yeah.
this different has won all of his races,
Yeah.
continues to progress. He could be one for
Do you know what
what's
I liked about him, Liam, quickly as well? Just when they came to the final flight last time, there was about 4 or 5 that had come right up alongside him, pushing to go win their race. He just sat on the bridle and just like he got a squeeze, didn't get a clip, and he just pulled away again. Like he did it all on his own almost. Like I love that. So
definitely. There's loads more under the bonnet with him,
mm,
isn't there?
yeah, yeah, I agree.
So if you get like it's hard enough to pick a 10-1 winner on any given day.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like, as much as we are price sensitive, if you can back something now at 10-1, all
yeah.
right, you've got like 4 weeks to collect. Still a decent bloody winner, isn't it? Do you know
Nothing
what I
wrong
mean?
with that. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah. Jamie?
Uh, what race, man, Joe? Sorry, it's after clicking out of it here for some reason.
We're on the per temps, Jamie.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah.
It's February, Jamie.
Liam just mentioned it. I'm only back one horse for it. That's 16-1. He's up the anti-post. He was third behind Mashan 2 in October. Off a mark of 137, got qualified. Mashan 2 was going for the stairs. Her Electric Masson won the big 3 mile handicap hurl in Haydock. Been running around in Sandown, Cheltenham, went to entry after 2.5 miles last day and got the mark dropped to 135, so which is even better for Skelton. And Skelton doesn't do what Charles Burns, does he? Nah, he wouldn't be like that at all. But no,
Far too
all
honest.
jokes aside, it's a
Far
premium
too
West.
honest for that.
I'm on it 16s. I'm very happy, and I think he's one of my handicap bankers the whole week. Yeah, Supremely West.
Love it, mate. Love it. Nice one. Some strong selections there. Anyway, from all of us, then really. Right, we move on to the Kim Muir. We're doing this in fairly good time, boys. 3 mile, 2 furlongs for the amateur jocks. Last year's winner. This one's a tough one. Can you remember the winner last year?
Daily present.
Pleasant.
Daily present.
What did you just say about?
Why do I keep thinking it's Pleasant Company? We had this conversation.
No, that
In
was
fact,
the
it's really
Malcolm
new,
Denmark
Jamie.
with the check.
Daily present. Paul Nolan because he beat Johnny Who.
That's right, you got it. Yeah, off a mark of 130. Last year's bottom weight was 127. The top weight was 144. Go on then, James. Who you got for the Kim Muir this year? Worth non-runner money back in this market, surely. Because
Yeah,
they've got a few options here.
Johnny
Like.
Who needs to run again to get dropped a pound to get back in it. He's
Okay,
146.
fine.
He won't get in it at the moment. I think it's quite simple, Joe. I got on at 8th. He's 4-1 on another bet, 5-1. I think Jericho's ripping it is an absolute good thing. Yeah. It's been planned all year. He was in that race that I keep mentioning. Salvo won it. Diane Questa, Wade Out, Lawrence Bay, Moon Rocket. They're all in there. Yeah. Get a bit of Derek O'Connor in him, put him out the back in a handicap, and he'll come around the bend, no bother to it. I think he's just the obvious winner, Joe. I know it's rotten price now, but I think Jericho the Rep will win it. Now, if Derek picks something else, you're in trouble. But Jericho would win it.
Yeah, nice and Jay. Yeah, look, I'm just gonna button with my selection because it's sort of in it's included in a way because I fancy a JP horse, but that's my concern that Derek O'Connor's not going to be on him. It's also called Show Your Appreciation. I backed him last time at Punchestown. I tipped him at 5-1, muggy each way. Jesus Christ, Derek O'Connor looked like the winner halfway around. It was awesome. It was an amateur jockey's race, and he was the only sort of top quality.
He was 5-1 that day, Joe. When
Yeah,
he came
yeah,
around the whole
5-1.
fleet, give him a great ride.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I said I backed him each way. I was like Derek O'Connor is not finishing outside the first three as the jockey in this race, like, but he jumped like a buck, so easy. Look, you've got Jericho de Repne, highly likely going to be the #1 choice, but for whatever reason, anything happens. Show your appreciation at 14-1. He's like the horse that could do a bit of an I know the way you're thinking and just skyrocket in the ratings, but we will see. Liam, who do you fancy in the Kim Muir?
Yeah, everyone's latched onto the JP stuff again. Over bet, not interested. We'll be happy to see it get beat the way it's been campaigned, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, I'm definitely steering away from the front of the market. There's a couple that I fancy. Jamie gave a mention to one a little bit earlier. Will the Wise. I think he's more likely to rock up here personally. He's available at 16s. Again, another one who's not been. Then again, I suppose all of these handicaps, it's not as if all of them have been properly campaigned for the
No,
season.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit
It's just
unfair.
part of the game, isn't it? It's just part of
It
the
is.
game,
It's,
like, you know.
it's the game. It's the game within the game, and I suppose that's where you find your big prices and where it puts a few quid in your pocket at the same time.
Yeah.
Not moan, like I just did. So yeah, Will-wise, I'd fancy for this at 16s. Another one I'll just give a mention to. This comes up absolutely bottomless. He's gone up £9 since winning at Wincanton. Rivers Corner for the Tizzards. He won really well in that staying race. Whether he's good enough to win this, I'm not so sure. You've probably got grade 3 kind of quality, grade 2 animals towards the head of the market, but he will get the weight concession in his favour against those. So Rivers Corner, I would not back him now at 20-1. I'd go nowhere near it. Should probably get about 60s on the day. But in the last 5-6 years, there's been winners at 40s on 2 occasions.
Yeah.
So wait for the day. He's definitely too short at the moment. If they do go there with him, he could be one. So Rivers Corner's at 20s, but I do think Will the Wise is probably a nominal no bet play at this stage, Joe.
Has he got the white and yellow and black silks?
No, green and
same colours as Stumptown.
No,
Yes.
no, the Joe Tizzard horse, Rockmar.
Oh, sorry.
Rivers.
Rivers Corner. No, I think it's yellow and black and it's same as JPR1.
Yeah, that's what I said, yellow and black. That one, yeah.
Sorry, you're right. You're right.
Did he? How old is he? Did he finish? Is he the one that finished second in the National Hunt Chase? No, it was Rock My Way, wasn't it? Rock My Way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He bolted up the last day at Wincanton by 21 lengths.
Did he? Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I might go and watch that race.
Heavy ground though. I think it'll. So if it carries on the way it is, then
yeah. Okay. Okie dokie. Right, on to the county hurdle next. I didn't get this far with my preparation, so I've got no stats for you. I do apologise, but really good field here. Mercier 8-1 again. To be fair, I'm a little bit frustrated with this one. I wrote a big column about her in my Discord group at 25s. I said at some point she becomes a bet, and I've just completely missed it. And 8-1, I'm not even going to bother, even though she could go off like 3-1. Jamie, what are you smiling at?
Oh, she's the obvious one now, Joe, but everyone's been latching on to her, as you said. She needs better ground to be seen to better effect, anyway.
Definitely.
There's another one, obviously, of Willie Mullins, who was the LA Tom crowd. Rock Dino is going to prove a wise guy's horse. Obviously, second to Mighty Park, who's fancied for the Turners. Second to El Kairos. Has the 5 runs, so he's 16-1, non-runner, no bet, I think. Joyuz, who I mentioned, is 25-1 there. But the one I like is a horse that will finally, I think, might win a big handicap. Regardless of Mercy, it was very eye-catching, obviously. It was too eye-catching for my liking in that 2 mile handicap.
Are you going to say Bunting?
Yes.
You are? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Bunting is Harry Cobden. Is learning. He's learning on the job. I put it that way. He's learning on the job. He's 16 to 1 on run and
Very
bet.
slowly, very
I'll
slowly.
tell you one
He's
thing though,
learning.
Jamie.
He's learning how to be an Irishman. Fair play to him. We'll convert him. Yeah. He ran in the Carl Cup last year, and he just was too keen with Paul Townend, and he was up in the band. He just didn't stay.
Mm.
2 miles, one in the county is going to suit him. Remember now as well, he ran in one of the best juvenile hurls we've seen for the last couple of years in the Magsbra, Storm Hart, Cargeezy won the county hurl. He ran in that Triumph hurl. I think he won't be 16 to 1 on the day. I think Tony Bloom will want the winner at Cheltenham because he doesn't have an Ergamine winning at Cheltenham anymore. I think this horse is going to be backed off the board. I think he probably will be Cobden's Ride, to be honest with you.
Mm.
Because Mercia, Paul Town is going to pick Mercia because he was on him in the Boodles last year. What's not to like? I think he's a massive bet of 16 to 1. If you get bigger 20s, maybe have a bet in him. But he was massive eye catcher, more than Mercia, I thought, in the 2 mile handicap because Harry Cobden minded him. And he was well backed into 15 to 2 the last day. So Bunting all day for me.
You're getting a better price there as well, James, aren't you, as well, than Mercia right now, you
Yeah.
know? I'd rather just wait and just back her at short if I need to be or whatever on the time.
Yeah.
All right, Liam, what do you fancy in the county?
I need to go and check my open bets and make sure I've had enough on because
Oh, aye.
I mentioned Bunting when me and Jay obviously reviewed last week's action. And one thing I will say, I like what Jamie said about Harry Cobden. He needs to improve his acting, though. I'll tell you what, you can't just bob up and down that slowly on a horse. You're not trying.
Well, he did it. He did it. He rode Meet Me by the Sea this weekend, last in the Game Spirit as well. So
Yeah,
he's up to plenty of it right now.
absolutely. But as Jamie says, learning on the job. But they turned the corner in that DRF 2 mile handicap, and he was squeezed for room. He ended up getting squeezed up the standside rail, sorry, the inside rail, and then basically just fell onto horse's heels, and then Harry then just didn't quite push, I suppose. I agree with everything that Jamie said about Tony Bloom wanting to have winners. He turned up last year with Poniros at 100 to 1. I think Bunting's got a cracking chance. Another one I'm going to give a mention to. Gavin Cromwell has had, and I think even by his own admission, a really, really difficult season from start to finish. He's had a couple of nice winners since. However, when you team up Owen Staples with the £7 claim and Gavin Cromwell, and you back that combination to a £1 stake, you'd make over 40 quid.
Jeez.
So they're unbelievably profitable for a yard that's been going really poorly. He's ridden for him around about 78 times already this season. He's got an 18% strike rate. If he takes £7 off Hello Neighbour, who's 40 to 1 in the county hurdle, a horse that has won graded races, has only just been seen towards the winter period of this season. He'd been kept away after a run on the flat. He is rated 147. I can't see the UK handicapper giving him much more, given the fact that Mercy is rated about £8 lower, and they've both won grade ones in this country. Sorry, he's won a grade one in the island, and she's won a grade one in this country.
He won the spring juvenile, didn't he?
Yeah. I think he's
Hello Neighbour.
better.
He did, yeah. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah, he did.
Sort of forget he was poor. Yeah.
Galileo Dane was it in behind in second. Yeah. So I think he's potentially overpriced at 40s. I tipped the pair. I was happy to play the pair against the field. Bunting for all the cases that Jamie and I have made. And Hello Neighbour at 40s. I would happily play those pair against the field and have done.
Love it. Perfect stuff. Well, I'm just frustrated I didn't manage to get on Mercy at bigger prices, and that's all I've got for the race.
You never backed him when you said it.
No, nothing. That's why
Joe.
I think that's why I've been moaning about these horses that as soon as they get clocked, they get backed, and I'm like, 25 to 1. I didn't have a penny on. 8 to 1 now. Anyway, right, we move on then, boys. What have we got left? Is it just the one left now?
Martin Pipe, yeah.
Martin Pipe. We can go back to the cross country if you boys have got anything.
Yeah, we'll have a quick touch on that after, and anything else maybe you boys want to say. Cool. Let's go to the Martin Pipe then next. Of course, it's a race that's been used for a stepping stone for plenty of horses that have gone on to graded company. You're probably going to want a horse that isn't far off that as well going into this race, I'd imagine so, or certainly well handicapped in on that nice rise to where he needs to be. Liam, we're going to stick with you first for the Martin Pipe. Talk to us.
Yeah, again, Navajo Indy could run here. I
Yeah,
think
okay.
more of a staying chance, so I'll just touch on him. Joya Mask reminds me a little bit
Mm.
of Raglan Road last year. Raglan Road ended up running at 40 to 1, and he's the same price currently. Um, I'm just not sure if my eyes are lying to me, Joe, to be honest. When the horses go into your tracker and then you back them like subsequently, sometimes you're like, and then they run poorly, you're like, whatever I've seen, it was
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
And, and I'm just not so sure as to whether he's actually that good. And obviously with the colours and associations, you're thinking there will be a plan, but potentially him. The one I did like, I actually put him up in my moving markets column. And Joe, like you, frustratingly, didn't even follow my own bloody advice, did I, mate?
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
uh, I paid a nom at 20s, and then he's contracted into 12s. Um, Harry Skelton had said in a piece with Star Sports that I think he does now weekly, which people probably want to just keep an eye on, that this was the plan. He'll probably line up there. Harry Atkins on.
Mm.
Yeah, boring. I paid a nom 12s. If you get nom running no bet, yeah, I think he'll be inside the frame. He's got the course form as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, you've been speaking about him too. So again, love it when a plan starts to come together. Just a shame we missed the price. Jamie, Martin Pipe, who's gonna, take us out in
Well,
style?
he was one, obviously. Yeah, yeah, he was so impressive yesterday. Yeah, that was up 126. He'll go up about £8 for that, I'd
Mm.
say. So, not a bother. He'll get in here. Like one's obvious. The one is not well. It kind of 25 to 1 non runner a bit, right? He didn't run up to. He was post race coughing apparently after race, but it was his second to Kazansky at Limerick at Christmas was county final. I think. Don't forget about that horse. Obviously we put it up at the DRF, and Kazansky was second to Dr. Steinberg in the Grade One. So don't forget about county final. But I think the most obvious one. I backed this horse show at 20 to 1 for the Martin Pipe when it came out and it's obvious one now because it's the favorite and it's the passing wife. If it's 139, if it doesn't get like more than the £6 tax for the 145 mark, will run the Curl Cup, and then I'd back it in the Curl Cup as well. Um, it's just a form job. Like look at the Gorham Park run. Like the Devil You Know won it. The Devil You Know has won the River Don. Skylight Hustle is a Grade One winner.
Mm.
Um, the third, he was third at Ferryhouse when Cocktail, Bruton, Blake, they were fourth and fifth in the Grade One of the DRF. Then he went to Leopardstown at Christmas, ran in the race with Talk to Talk and Skylight Hustle, as I mentioned. And then he won at Punchestown for horse I fell hook, line, and sinker for, and Dr. Duminil. And he absolutely wiped the floor of him. So he's still up to a mark of 139 here. If he gets a £6 tax, he'll still have 145. He'll obviously be one of the top weights, but I think he's just a class horse and classier horse in the race, like Wood, who was last
Yeah.
year. The form is in the book, and if Skylight Hustle is anywhere in the Turners, this horse is going or Talk to Talk or the Devon, and the Edinburgh Park. This horse is going to be back off the board, like so because of the form.
Mm.
So the passing wife in the county final for me in the pipe. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Nice one, James. God, he really impressive last time. The pass on traveled like powerfully, didn't he? Like come around that corner. Again, I haven't really got too much in here. I do have my eye on a horse a lot further down for Gavin Cromwell. We'll only have done 40 to 1. Traveling really nice last season, looking like he was getting the better of a horse called I'll Sort That, who's of course now a graded winner, but then he ended up coming down. He then pulled up behind No Drama this end. He ran quite well in January behind Zeus Power and then pulled up again this weekend at Turles. We've seen that he's got ability. I'm just keeping my mind and my eye on him for the time being. Because if he's going to be mapped towards this way and a bit of money starts to come, it's been a plan mapped out quite well. They've had Keith Donoghue riding him as well, just to make sure that he can get the ride they need. I'm not necessarily sure they'd have wanted to like pull up last time, but the money was weak at the same time, so perhaps I'll just draw a line through it anyway and say they didn't have him primed for it. But he'd only be a half selection for the time being, if anything at all. Right. Liam made a good point there. We're going to go back and have a look at the cross country.
Just
Stumptown.
out of interest, lads. Do either you get giddy about this from either on the day or from an anti-post perspective?
I
don't.
like it on the daily, and I'll have a big bet in it on the day. I actually like watching it. To be honest, I really
Yeah,
do. I think they're good races.
I have
No,
no problem with the race whatsoever, but I don't look forward to it like I'm looking forward to the Supreme and stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't see any case whatsoever why you would want to remove it from the Cheltenham Festival. That's what I'd say.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's all. Like, great, entertaining, isn't it? If you
Yeah.
want to get rid of one, get rid of the Hunter's Chase. It's a glorified cross country, but the cross country they run on the cross country
Those
course.
poor amateurs, Joe.
Well, there you go. See, there's my ignorance, and rightly so. But maybe, do you know what? It has its place.
Mayor's
With,
Chase, number one. Get rid of
Yeah,
it.
with that Hunter's
the
Chase,
Ryanair and the Mare's Hurdle.
with that Hunter's Chase, would you just put the pipe on the Wednesday instead, and then have the what day is Hunter's Chase? What am I talking about? It's all on the Friday. Ignore me. Hunter's Chase on the Friday as well. So
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
Mayor's Chase on a
going down
Friday.
a rabbit hole that didn't even exist. Anyway,
Sorry,
right, Stumptown 11. Wait, what about you? Do you like it?
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. Yeah, I prefer it now that it's been changed to a handicap. I think it makes it more interesting from a betting perspective. And also, you're not getting horses like dual Grand National winners running off
Yeah,
level weights with like horses that are so inferior. So, yeah,
yeah, sure. We
changes.
get the odd Frenchie as well, don't we come over? Some like
Yeah, true. Yeah.
over a French horse or two. Stumptown 11-4. Favre Deschamps do it 6-1 now, while in the picture. Desert Moor House 6-1, while in the picture. Vanillier 12-1, while in the picture. Final orders maybe just dropped out of the picture a little bit, but he's still there or thereabouts. Go on then. As you brought it up, Liam, who do you fancy in the cross country?
Couldn't care less. Can't stand it.
Yeah, all right, Jamie.
No, I'm joking, of course. Favre Deschamps do. I did like a little bit of a series very early out, Joe, of just all the races across the whole of the 28 days, just trying to find selections at 28 to 1 or bigger that might have been value at that
Yeah,
given point in time. Favre Deschamps do
and he
33s
smashed. Yeah, cracking
uh,
find.
after falling round here again, Joe. I'll have to follow your lead. Did I back him? Did I toffee?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
he's 6-1. I would fancy him. I thought that was a really good performance off top weight at the last meeting at Cheltenham Trials Day. Other than that, a little bit Shannon Royale, I think, has got a race in him.
Interesting.
He's 33s, but I couldn't make a huge case for any of them, mate. I didn't bring the race up because I had such a big
No, no, I know. I understand. Yeah. It's still a handicap, isn't it? It is the handicap episode, effectively.
That's it. The one I won't be back in, so he probably will win, is the Goffer, because I tell you what, he's
Yeah.
threatened to win a billion times. And
Yeah. Horses like the Goffer and Bustleton,
yeah,
just they
They're
not.
Punches down banks
Yeah,
horses.
and they're not finishers. They're not finishers. They wait till everyone else is finished and then they'll run on. And you'll go, oh, that's an eye catcher. No, it's
yeah.
not. He's lazy. He's lazy. Save your money. Save your money. But no, look, just a quick word on that as well, Liam, what you're saying about like going to back horse and then having. I'm very minimalistic with the amount of bets I have for Cheltenham anti-post, whereas I know there's people in my Discord that I've been talking to, they like do this whole book building stuff. So by the time it gets to Cheltenham, for example, the Arkle, they've got Lulamba, Kopek, Romeo, whatever. Like the difference is a lot of them tend to get free bets each week. I don't have that access, so you can't use that. I'd actually have to use cash. But there are situations this season where I've noticed times, and I'm like, why haven't I just backed this pair? Like at one point, you had Lulamba and Kopek at 7-1 each for the Arkle. Now, I'm not hindsight's a wonderful thing and all of that, but I do remember even looking at the time thinking you could tip either of those, and as long as they get there, they're going to be much shorter because you know there's nothing in behind that's better than them and things. So I might change my way a little bit next season for certain horses like that, and maybe give
But then,
myself
then, then again, Joe, that same scenario might have played out last season. So if you back both the pair,
Go on.
you're onto a 7-2 winner, and
Yeah.
then Jingo Bay parachutes into that
So
race.
sure,
Do you know what I mean? And then wins, and then
cool.
you've done double the dough.
Sure. So here's also the question. So how do we look at that, right? So you have we'll just say just for example, you're gonna have £100 on 7-1, and you have £100 on 7-1. So, and you one of them lands, you win £800 off your £200 outlay.
Mhm.
Have you then backed, like you said, a 7-2 winner, or have you just lost the point off the 7-1 and you've actually had your 100 on a 6-1 winner or whatever? Do
I
you
know
know?
you've outlaid 200, you got 800 back. You've
And you're looking at it straight away as a 4-1.
actually had a 4-1 winner, haven't you?
Yeah, see, this is just me thinking, like, whilst I'm considering alternate
Yeah,
ways of punting. And
yeah.
And I'm going to give myself an allowance for handicappers as well, just to give myself. I don't give myself the opportunity to have a swing at the handicappers. Sometimes it's
3-1 winner you have there. So you've had so you've got 600 profit and you've outlaid
yeah,
200.
You've a 3-1 winner.
Yeah, 3-1 winner. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I'm just saying it's like if you're having 1 point on one and then you're 1 point on another, you're only losing 1 point. But then when you look at the outlay and then see, this is just me thinking because people in my group do it, and it gets to the day and then they're like, whatever happens, Lulamba, Kopek, Romeo, Karjasi,
They don't
Pollard,
care. They
they
don't
don't
care.
care. But at the same time, some people
I used
just
to do
want to
that
pay out in
before,
March.
and
They don't care what they've
I
spent
got
to get
I got
there. They
I
want to
got
get to
bored
the
of it.
March.
I got
Yeah,
bored
well,
of it.
that's like me,
I
James.
think,
That's
I, I
almost
think
like
that,
me. Don't
I
know if
think that's also the other side of it. Like from our perspective, and I think this is probably drilled too much, and perhaps we all of us are guilty of it, or anybody who runs any sort of podcast platforms that is driven by winning.
Mm,
Like for some people, it's a hobby.
mm.
So they look
Yeah,
forward
yeah,
to
yeah,
those
fair.
4 days, and therefore they back multiple horses, and they might come out of it if they actually did the sums. They might come £10 down, but
Mm.
they,
But
they,
where's
they
the
feel they've
excitement would
invested
have
in.
4 or 5 in a race where you know you're not going to lose? Kind of, do you know what I'm trying to say to
Yeah,
you?
100%, James.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
boring. Like,
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you
It
know what I
makes
mean? And I used to be
total
like
sense.
that, guys. I don't give a shit. I have him already. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Boring. I thought. I know it's good, and I suppose sometimes if you get into a plus in it, fair enough. If it's your bag, it's your bag. I used to do it before, but I found it's a lot of work and it's
Yeah.
boring after a while.
Because
That's
because
just,
Like
and
you said, Joe, sorry, it's like
mm,
it's having access to the accounts and being able to
yeah,
go
yeah.
100%. Oh yeah,
have positions to cash out, which none of
yeah.
us three will have the ability to
No,
do.
no.
So, like I'll get to a shop in town. By the time I've got there, something I've tipped, I can't even get on myself
Yeah,
or on
yeah,
my,
yeah, yeah.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
exactly. And what was I also going to say? What else was I going to say? Oh shit, it's left me quite relevant.
Before you remind yourself, anyway, before you come on to me, Joe, I'm with Liam. I think Favre de Champ will win this anyway. So
He's revitalized, doesn't he, as a horse sort of thing, you know? He's
he's
revitalized.
on a roll and he's revitalised. And if Jack
Mm,
Kennedy is just as good as Keith Dunham around the Banks track, so Favre de Champ too. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Good, good, good.
a question, Joe, while you're thinking, Jamie, I'll ask you it first while Joe's trying to bring back that brainwave.
Okay.
People ask, so from an anti-post perspective, as this is a handicap series, Jamie, what race has been the best to you? And you can't say the county hurdle because I know that's the answer.
Hmm.
Um, I'd say the Pertemps bar the county. Yeah, yeah. Plate. No, I'm not great at the plate. I'm not great at the ultimate. I used to love the Novice Handicap, the old one. It was the 145 one. Plutar won it. Mr. Whitaker won it. Imperial, something. One of the Imperial cutters won 1 year for Kim Bailey.
Aura.
What's it called?
Imperial Aura, yeah.
Imperial Aura, back that. I used to love that race. Um, but I'd say the Pearl Times, yeah, I've had a lot of winners at Fingal Bay.
Did you have
Sorry, the Burnley the first year. I never back in the second year. Um, there was another Pearl Times. Oscar Park was another one years ago. What was the one? Buena Vista. I used to back that.
Benavista for pipe, for
Yeah.
pipe. Geez, that's going back like 20 years.
Um,
Literally.
presenting Percy won it.
Oh yes, presenting Percy did, yeah.
I'm trying to think of another. Yeah, I like the Pertains, but the county is by far my most profitable. Yeah, I love the county. Yeah.
So there you are. So Jamie, just remind everyone what was your selection in the county?
Bunting.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
No, what about yourself?
Oh God, I can't remember what I was trying to think of. I can't think. It really bugged me. Hey, but we can talk about it another time.
Most profitable handicap? Pertemps, you
Probably
said before. You like the Pertemps, you said
I
earlier,
do.
didn't you?
I'm a big fan of the per temps. I do back the winner quite, you know, a higher percentage than I would the Grand Annual. For the Coral Cup's been good to me because I've had some big price winners. I had William Henry at 33s.
Ugh.
I had Commander of Fleet at 66s.
That was the Swamp Day, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
that was another one as well. Oh, Joe, stop.
yeah.
You've stabbed me once in the side. Now you stab me on the other side. Fast
Um,
or slow, I have in that.
yeah, I had Whisper. I had some from back. Sky's the limit. Do you remember him, James?
Guys, the limit for
Striker?
great. I back
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
I've had.
great
So to
horse.
be
Barry
fair,
Garrett, he was on it. He was top weight and he absolutely
that's
hosed
it.
up.
Yeah, yeah. So I've had some good ones. I've had some big price winners in the Coral Cup. Whether that's not,
Whisper won
I
it.
said Whisper. Yeah, Whisper.
Whisper.
I had Whisper and William Henry in the same
What was the
colours.
name of that? What was the name of that Buckley horse? I backed it for Garrity won it. It'll come to me.
Spirit River.
What?
Spirit River.
That's it. Back that
Yeah,
as well.
Spirit
Yeah.
River.
Henderson's very good at it. Like Henderson's a great trainer for it. In fairness to him.
Petit Swan as well. Petit Swan won it for Nichols. Jessica Harrington had it with Super Sunday.
Yes,
first
the other one, the one for the size in Europe cutters.
Yeah. Carlito Brigante for Gordon Elliott.
Carlito, I was gigging.
Anyway, lads, we're now just listing winners.
Yeah,
of Cheltenham.
we are. Right. That's all good.
I try to be authentic, Liam. Going off on a tangent.
I've about 3% battery on my laptop. So
no, just before we leave, Joe, before I go, thanks for reminding me of William Henry, Wicklow Brave.
Yeah, exactly. Lads, just quickly, your one best for now, or any standouts that you've got for now that you want to mention? Just to leave the episode with your best.
Supreme West and the Power Temps.
Supreme West.
July Flower and Navajo Indy. Navajo Indy for the Coral Cup, non-runner no bet you have to take, and July Flower in the Grand Annual. 25 is a cracking bet.
Love it. Mine's going to be a little bit of a Trixie Payton, whatever. Active Authority in the Per Temps, Stormheart in the Coral Cup, Newton Tornado in the National Hunt Chase. And you'll be rich. Thanks everyone that's tuned in. Really appreciate it. Honestly, get your comments in. Let us know your best handicap fancies. And I'll tell you what, we will give you some shout outs if you can land some. We're going to release the dates of our Cheltenham Festival preview, and we've got loads of other bits, as you already know, still to come. Please do like and subscribe, everyone. We appreciate you so much. Thank you very much. And we will be back in the near future. Bye for now.